Hello. My name is Joseph Anajar. I'm a musician from Montreal, Canada, and it's been a little bit of time since I've made a video, so I think we are due for a little bit of a catch-up. Also, I'm going to teach you about modal borrowing and some chord progressions like that. But before we get to that, let me get you up to date with a lot of the stuff that I've been doing. So there's a lot of big news. First thing is that I have a new band with Joshua Della Victoria, the legend, and we have dropped 3 singles, Drip, Buy High, and Negative Space, and we put out 2 live videos, live off the floor, that we recorded last summer here in Montreal, a cover from Tigran Hamasyan, A Crane Came From Van, as well as a live version of one of the tunes from the album, Quinton Saventino. That's a lot of stuff. I realize I've been neglecting YouTube a little bit. I will try to not do that in the future because I'm realizing now that a lot of people that follow me on here don't necessarily also follow me on Instagram. So I will try to keep up on both of those social medias, you know what I'm saying? Another thing is the album from which these songs are from is coming out July 28th. And we collaborated with Sheet Happens to make the pre-orders happen, as well as the vinyl and the tab book. And if you pre-order the tab book if you pre-order the tab book now, you get tabs for the first 3 singles. So if that's something you're into and you want to get into those guitar parts, there's going to be a link in the description. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I also know a lot of you guys that have been following me for a while know about my other band, Bird Problems. And there is stuff, it's just not quite the time yet. Right now, it's Portraits time, and I'm very, very excited for everybody to hear the rest of the tracks from the Buy High album. Yeah, that's what's up. So thanks for bearing with me. Once again, I'm going to try my hardest to not neglect my YouTube channel as much. I do have a lot of ideas for YouTube videos that I want to get to, and some exciting new gear and stuff that I just want to talk about. So there's going to be some stuff pretty soon. So, thanks for being with me through the inconsistencies, you know what I'm saying? Here's what I want to talk about today. In the latest track that we dropped, Negative Space, there's a lot of what I call, and a lot of people will call, modal borrowing. This is a concept that I talk a lot about in my lessons. I teach this a lot, and people seem to be really confused about modes in general, which doesn't help with this a bit more advanced concept of modal borrowing. So what I'm going to walk you through is going to be the verse section of Negative Space. It has some really cool changes, and I'm going to teach it to you, and I'm going to teach you what I'm thinking about in order to solo over these sections, the type of scales that I'm using, as well as the way it works in the key. Because modal borrowing isn't necessarily like a thing that can be done, it's more a way to analyze chord progressions, right? Like if you are in a key and a chord happens, you ask yourself, where does this chord come from? It comes from this different mode, and that is sort of the bare bones definition of modal borrowing. So let me just pick up a guitar and I'll be right with ya. All right, so let's get started. I like to think about the verse section in Negative Space as being in C minor. Let me play the chords and then I will sort of walk you through my analysis or what I am thinking about when deciding what to play over these chords. So here's how it goes. So let me walk you through the changes real quick, and I'll sort of omit that little line. So it goes A minor 7. So here I'm voicing that with an 11 on top. It's not very important to the analysis. So A minor 7. Then we do an E flat major 7 with a 9 sort of voicing. And then we do a G sort of triad in first inversion. And then a B flat major 7. And and then the second half is C minor, C minor 7, and then again that E flat voicing, that E flat major 7 with a 9 voicing, and then back to A minor, and then E flat major 7 with a sharp 11 on top. So here's how I think about it. Again, we're in C minor, so C is the 1 chord. So the first chord is A minor 7. So where does that come from? In the key of C minor. So I'm borrowing that A minor 7 from C major. So it's a 6 minor 7 chord in the key of C major. That's the sort of modal borrowing formula. Then we go to a 3 major 7 chord, which is in the key of C minor, so we're not going anywhere. Right? That's cool. Now this this G triad in first inversion, where does it come from in relation to C minor? It's borrowed from C Lydian. The next chord is a B flat major 7 sharp 11. Although I don't think I play the sharp 11 in the riff, but that's not important. And that comes from C Mixolydian. Right? Then we go back to C minor, which is the 1 chord, right? Then we go again to that 3 major 7 chord, which is in the key, so that's fine. Then we go back to that minor 6 chord, the A minor 7 in the key of C minor, but it's being borrowed from C major, right? Follow me so far? Are we good? Are we? And then the last chord is the flat 6 major 7, which is in the key of C minor. So once again, I'll do that a bit quicker now that I've explained it a little bit. So we do minor 6 chord, then we do 3 major chord, then we do like a 5 major 7 chord, I guess. Sometimes sometimes naming these is a bit annoying, but it doesn't really matter. Then we do a 7 major 7 chord, right in this key. Then we go 1, 3, 6 minor, flat 6 major. So that's a lot of stuff, and I know I'm going to lose some people, so don't worry too much about it. This is really cool for analysis purposes and sort of, you know, having discussions about, oh, like, isn't it interesting to look at this chord in this perspective, right? Like, you could look at it in different ways. I could do a different analysis thinking that we are in A minor, but maybe it wouldn't be as intuitive, right, with the sort of naming of the changes in the chord functions. So it's all just like about how you see it. What becomes important is sort of the scales that you choose to write or solo over these chords. This next part, most people will be able to follow a bit better. So if that went over your head, don't worry about it. So here's what I would play over these chords. I would play A Dorian over the first chord, the E major over the second chord, over this chord I would go back to A minor, A Dorian, because I'm just playing G major, and then on this B flat major 7 chord I would play Lydian. And then we go back to C minor, and here I could play Dorian just to have that modal sound, but I could also play Aeolian. Then we go back to 3, where I would play E flat major. Then we go back to A Dorian, and then finally A flat Lydian. So there's a lot of stuff there. It's okay if you're a bit confused. If you have specific questions, put them in the comments. I'm sure people will help you out, or I can go in there and try to be a bit more clear. Modal borrowing is the idea of staying in a key and sort of explaining where these spicier changes are coming from in relation to the C minor key. Here's another more simple example. If I'm in the key of G major, so I'm playing a 1 chord, a 1 major 7 chord, And then the next chord is this A flat major 7. This sort of thing, right? So the analysis would be flat 2 major 7, because I'm playing this. This is the flat 2, and I'm playing a major 7. So what mode of G has a flat 2 major 7 chord? We're in G major, right? There's no flat 2 major 7 there. So what mode would have this note? So it would be Phrygian. And that's the sort of modal borrowing sound. You're just borrowing your chord in that moment from a parallel mode of the same key. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, maybe you just need to review your modes a little bit. A lot of knowledge online about that. And yeah, that's what's up. So I guess to close off, I'm just gonna mention again that I have a new project called Portraits, and that if you want to pre-order the album that comes out July 28th, there's a link in the bio. Another thing, if you want to talk about theory stuff, I do private lessons. You can email me, and I'll put that in the description too. So if that's your vibe and you want to do that, we can get in touch and see what's up. Anyways, thank you for sticking around, and thanks for checking out my music and this video. And I'll catch you guys around in the next one, all right? All right. Peace. Happy practicing. I'll see you guys next time.